Hey guys, it's Dom here, and today I thought let's just have a bit of a funky video and do a tier list on some of the NPCs from Oblivion. So what I've done today is I've grabbed 40 of the most iconic or memey NPCs there are in Oblivion, and I'm slowly going to be putting them into this tier list. So here we have at the very top, we have Golly, you're the best! Because the adoring fan obviously says that when you tell him that he can follow you along. We have You're Finally Awake to throw in a few Skyrim memes. We have They'll Be Gentle for the Morrowind memes, because, you know, we need to show a bit of love to them. And if this video does well, maybe we'll do a tier list on the NPCs from Skyrim or Morrowind. And we also have, carrying on, I Don't Care to Know, because of Ulrich Leland being all about saying, I don't know you and I don't care to know you. And I don't know why I just went double English there. But anyway, continuing on, we have Stole Your Sweet Roll, because we want another Skyrim silly meme, and I was running out of Oblivion memes for titles. And we finally have the worst of the worst, the dive rock fodder, the ones we just want to tell to turn 180 degrees and go away because we're a Christian channel and we don't say swears. Anyway, onto this video. We'll be starting off by going through faction by faction, just so you can kind of see how we're evaluating people. And I thought the first one we'll start off on is going to be the Fighters Guild, because it's not too important, but it's also not too just lame that people are going to instantly click off. So, the three that I've chosen to evaluate from the Fighters Guild is Lord Rugdump, Pinaris, and Maglir. I know Pinaris is not part of the Fighters Guild, but he is linked to one of the quests, hence the reason he's here. So starting with Lord Rugdump, he is a bit of a douchebag, bit of a silver spoon lodged very far up his bum-bums. And he just tells you to go get his daughter back from some ogres, which he may or may not have been doing some kinky things with. I mean, the game never ever suggests that, but let's be honest, rich people, they do whatever the flip they want. So we can't really be too sure on what her daughter was up to, so she's not on this list. But him as a father letting his daughter run away and do some weird stuff with some vile ogres, and this isn't a Shrek movie, he's not going to be scoring very high on my tier list. Okay, moving on to Pinaris, because we spent a lot of time on Rugdump. He seems like a decent enough chap. He helps you find some mountain lions, which were just kind of pestering a woman with some rat pets. And, you know, because of that, I would have put him quite high. But unfortunately, in the quest Siren's Deception, we find out that he fell for this trap and ended up losing a very nice Minotaur horn to them, therefore making him a simp, and simps do not score high on my tier lists. He is going near the bottom. And finally with Maglir, just like most wood elves, now that I think about it, they're just a bit annoying. All he does is pester you and make you do his work and then expect you to say, oh, well, he did a good job. So yeah, no, honestly, if he finds the nearest cliff and just happens to fall off it, I don't think anyone would get mad. In fact, you might hear a slight applause from me, because he's just a bit annoying. In fact, I think the adoring fan is probably a bit less annoying than Maglir, so he's definitely going in bottom tier, which, from looking at our tier list, will mean that Lord Rugdump is going in Don't Care to Know, because what really annoys rich people is if you pretend you don't know a thing about them and that they're irrelevant. Pinaris is going in Stole Your Sweet Roll, because, you know, they stole his Minotaur horn and he's a simp. And yeah, Maglir can just F off to the bottom of the tier list. Right, next we have my favourite faction, the Dark Brotherhood, and I chose these four gentlemen and gentlewomen to be chosen for this part of the tier list. Starting with Lucien LeChance, he's a bit of a lad, gets you into the organisation, doesn't even give a shit if you just say nothing to him. He'll deal with it, he'll just carry on. Like, you can literally be a mute, like your character does sound to be from your perspective, and he's just completely fine with it. Plus, he's a bit of a lad, you know, smuggling you into the Assassin's Guild. Well, I say smuggling. You murdered someone and he just happened to watch it. Anyway, those are the joys of coincidences. Next we have Vicente Valtieri, who, you know, he's a decent little fella. He's a useful vampire who gives you some decent quests, but he's a bit dull on the personality side, although he does offer you, like, the gift of being a vampire, which, in my opinion, is pretty lame, but as it's like an option, you know, he's probably going to be quite gentle around you, so you can kind of see where I'm foreshadowing him to go. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about him. He's just a bit dull with his cool kid leather jeans on, which aren't that cool. So we'll move on to Oshiva, who is one of my Argonian homies, and is, just like Vicente, giving you contracts, telling you what to do. But you don't really ever see either of these two people doing much, so they can't really score that high. So we're just going to put Oshiva in Don't Worry, I'll Be Gentle, whatever I called the tier list. And no, I'm not saying that because of, you know, Scaly Brethren or anything like that. It's just because, you know, she's decent, but she ain't amazing. And finally, we have Vaylendreth. Oh, what a slimy piece of... Probably can't say that next word, so I won't. But yeah, Vaylendreth is the man who taunts you at the beginning of the game, no matter who you're playing as. And if you play as a Dark Elf female, you get sexually harassed by him, which is, you know, a bit on the bad side. Valen, you need to calm down a bit. I know you've been in prison for 11 years. Or was it 10? I can't remember. Yeah, I'm sure the quest in the Dark Brotherhood where you finally go and kill him, you'll remember. But yeah, he's a bit of a douche. And he's just, you know, not that kind of cool kid, so he's definitely going near the bottom. The only good thing he ever did for society was letting you kill him. So anyway, back onto the tier list. We got 4 more people to add. Lucian's going in You're Finally Awake for being a Chad. We'll put Vicente no Shiva together and they'll be gentle. And you know what, actually? We'll put Vaylendreth in Stole Your Sweet Roll because the joys of killing him is what makes him worthwhile to be in the game. Plus, like Panaris, he's a flippin' simp if you're a female Dark Elf. Right, we're next going to move on to the arena because I know that everyone wants to know where the Adoring Fan's going, even though it's bloody obvious. So we'll start from the left of Agranak. You know, he's a cool guy. He's got quite a big reputation behind him. But the fact which, if you want to do his side quest and actually, you know, 100% the game, he just gives up on the fight and doesn't even try. I mean, I can understand he's upset, but surely he wants to take a bit of that anger out, even if it is on the person who gave him the truth and honesty. It would have been nice if there was an option in Oblivion to kind of lie to him about his backstory, just so you could still have a fight where he, you know, actually came at you with honour, rather than just being a kind of bit mopey and walking up to you and saying, just do it, which is a bit lame. Speaking of lame, we have the yellow team champion. Oh my goodness, this person, all they do is go, oh, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, and then guess what? You kill them. So... yeah, yellow team champion, you're a bit lame. And you know who isn't lame though? Owen. This guy, he looks at you at first and he thinks that you're the worst person who's ever walked into the arena. He even says that his granny can beat you. His unfortunately deceased granny could beat you in a 1v1 match. And, you know, that's fair. You're just a complete random person to him because he spends his entire life standing in one spot. But as you actually progress through the ranks, he starts to respect you more and more. And that's kind of cool, you know, a character actually developing the second they see you as like a, you know, good fighter and a, you know, reputable person. So yeah, Owen, you're going to be put in a decent spot because you're actually a bit of a Chad who doesn't just give us the, oh, you're the hero of everywhere, you're going to be a great fighter, we love you. He starts with no respect for you and he slowly builds it up. And we also have the Adoring Fan, yeah, you know where he's going right at the bottom. Literally the only thing he's used for is booting off Dive Rock and trying to get the world record for knocking him the furthest. So yeah, you're going right at the bottom, mate. So as we update the tier lists, we've got Owen in You're Finally Awake because, you know, he's a bit of a Chad. We have Agranak in Don't Care to Know because he's a bit irrelevant. He just walks into the arena and lets you kill him. We have Yellow Team Champion in Stole Your Sweet Roll because they annoy us, but we get to kill them. And yeah, Adoring Fan just had to go and dive rock fodder because the whole section was named after him. And I wasn't going to put him in Golly You're the Best because that was also named after him. Right, on to the Thieves Guild next. So we have Lex, Mephrodel, Amuse, Armand, Christophe, and the Grey Fox. So starting with Lex, he's a bit boring. He's just your generic guard captain, trying to hunt down the Grey Fox and just ignores the entire city just to find this one guy who no one really cares about, to be honest. He's a bit irrelevant. Like, if you speak to anyone else, they're like, oh wow, he's that big thief. But let's be real, none of them could name a single skedazzling crime that he's done throughout his years of being, like, you know, the Grey Fox. And he's been around for generations, but again, no one could name anything he's done. Now we move on to Mephrodel, and in fact Amuse, we'll throw them in the same boat. They're the people that you kind of go through the organisation just slightly ahead, because, you know, you've out-thiefed them, I suppose. And it's pretty cool that you've got these other two thieves slowly advancing more and more, and just having those other people that can kind of keep you grounded and make you feel like you're not this unstoppable force at everything. It's kind of nice. And it's pretty funny to watch Amuse constantly get locked up in random prison cells because he's a bit inept every once in a while. Anyway, Armand Christophe, this lad, he's going up in a quite high spot just because the number of memes that I've seen from the Imperial Guards asking, have you seen Armand Christoph? And he's either dead on the floor, or he's just walking right past the guard. Just everything about this man is pure meme material. And he's not even the Grey Fox, he's just some random doyen. But I guess we should get on to the Grey Fox, or Count Corvo? Is that his name? I can't even remember, and I'm not going to look it up for the video, because that's how irrelevant he is. I think he's going to have to go and don't care to know you, because I just don't really care to even look it up. All you make me do is your big old Nancy businesses just so you can get your ex-girlfriend back. Like, I just have to be a wingman for him, for goodness sake. I'm just his wingman. Like, that's not cool. We don't go down to the pub afterwards and, like, laugh and cheer about how I helped him get his bird back. No, he's just there like, oh, let's do these awesome heists. Oh, really? What for? Oh, I wanna get my girlfriend back. Yeah, no, Corvo, whatever your name is. You're not gonna go up that high. Okay, so that means back to the tier list. We've got Mephrodel and Christoph in You're Finally Awake. We've got Amuse and They'll Be Gentle, because I'm sure he's gentle with those locks, but he's not obviously cool enough like Mephrodel to be a good thief. We've got the Grey Fox and Don't Care to Know, because we just don't really care. And as Lex is a guard, he's probably going to question if someone's stolen your sweet roll. And I know that's a Skyrim thing, but I'm throwing it in here anyway. So onto the Mages Guild, we've got Traven, Manamarco, Varan Vamori, and Count Hasseldor. So Traven, he's not in my good books. He's the bloody Archmage of the Mages Guild, and he just sits in his own little part of the tower all day and all night. And whenever you see him, he just gives you some bad news about stuff going on. He makes you wait a full-blown week in between quests in-game, just to kind of slow down the bloody pace of the Mages Guild questline. And just before you go fight Manamarco, he bloody commits suicide, just so he can give you a soul-trapped gem to stop Manamarco. And I understand, oh yeah, okay, look, I needed that soul gem to beat Manamarco, but you did kind of drop everything in the Mages Guild to me with no prior experience to any of it. You could have given it to Raminus Pollinus, whatever his name is, who just didn't even make the list because he was a bit too irrelevant, and because I needed to choose 40 people from everything. So yeah, Traven's a bit lame. Manamarco as well. He's really cool in the lore. He's a bloody legend as well. And in this game, he just falls a bit flat by literally just threatening to resurrect you and then puts up a very half-assed fight. Now, you're probably wondering, why is Varan Vamori on this list? Well, as I formerly mentioned, I don't like simps, but I like simps enough that they can make it onto this tier list so they can get roasted. And yeah, Varan Vamori, stealing a girl's staff that you like just so they notice you more, and then getting me to sort out the issue. You're a simp. So yeah, you're not going well. And Count Hasseldor, every time I see Count Hasseldor, I just think, whose dirty work am I doing today? And like, he's a simp too, because he gives his dying wife a cure vampirism potion and doesn't even drink one himself, when we could just make more. So yeah, he's also getting put low on the simp, no, not simp tier list, the Elder Scrolls Oblivion tier list. So we've got Varan Vamori in Dive Rock fodder because he's just a pain and he doesn't really bring anything to the table. Manamarco gets a bit of redeemability for his, side in the lore. Hasseldor every once in a while is also kind of useful. And Traven, if you just give up at life, well, I don't really care about you, so you can go there, because, you did at least make the organisation that we're working in. Or at least, make some sort of swings in the magic world against Necromancer. Yeah, sure, at least you've done your thing. Exciting times, we're now moving on to the main quest, so we'll start with our main antagonist, Mankar Cameron. That's right, I didn't bother going with Memrune Dagon because he's not really the kind of NPCs I was wanting to go for here, as you can't really have a nice tea with him and just sit down and chat to him. But with Mankar Cameron, you can get a few kind of bits of conversations with him here and there. And he's actually an alright-ish villain, I guess. He's doing what he wants to do, trying to make himself this kind of god of a new world ruled by Memrune Dagon. Sure, mate, you're doing your own thing. You get a bit annoying here and there, but I'll put you in the middle ground because you seem okay. And with Barus is a lad. He is one of the boys. He's the kind of guy that after your shift of being one of the Blades agents, you just go for a pint with. And, you know, that's what it's all about, being a lad. And he's one of the first, like, few Blades to kind of think that you could be alright, even though you're a prisoner. That's what's cool. I respect him, and I'm sure he respects me. However, Joffrey, mate, if you manage to install a bloody lock on your hidden little keep-safe location for the Amulet of Kings, the main quest could have been so much shorter. And Joffrey, you're not as cool as Barros. He's the boy I want to go to the pub with. He is the boy I go to the pub with and ambush some mythic Dawn agent. While you, Joffrey, you just sit up in Cloud Ruler Temple, quote-unquote, protecting Martin, but you don't really do the best of jobs, do you? You just get the other Blades to do it. And this isn't an open diss at Joffrey, but you're just not as cool as Boros, and I guess coming from Boros to Joffrey, it just makes me look like I hate him, but he's just not as cool. And then Uriel Septim, you're voiced by Patrick Stewart, so you're going to get some points there. But, I mean, all you do is just throw the worst, like, romantic quip at me, saying I'm from your dreams, and then you die. Anyway, the other three that we've got are Okato, Martin Septim, and I've also thrown on the Prophet here from Knights of the Nine, because I wanted to include people from Knights of the Nine, but didn't really have many choices. So Okato, he's just a bit weird. If you try and speak to him before the end of the main quest, he just tells you to go away pretty much, and that he's got more important things to do than speak to you. Which, I mean, I guess it's fair. He is, like, on the High Council, but he's a High Elf. He's probably scheming something really devious, so I'm not a fan of him. And Martin Septim, you're voiced by Sean Bean, so I've got to give you some points there. And, you know, you seem like a nice enough chap. However, you have the same issue as Joffrey. You're just a bit lazy, and you leave me to do all, like, the difficult work by myself. And it's just a bit, you know, disrespectful. And you want me to give up a Daedric relic. Do you know how cool those items are? I'm not going to give you the Wabberjack. I'm just going to abuse the duplication glitch because I'm not giving you my one and only chance to just mess with things completely. Oh, and I guess the Prophet as well. I mean, he's alright. He makes me do a pilgrimage, which is a bit lame. But, I mean, he also spouts out some important dialogue about Umaril or whoever the hell that is. You know, that Umaril thing. So, yeah, I guess he's important enough, but he's not that great, so he's probably going to go quite low. I'm not a fan of these three. I mean, I guess sort of Martin Septim, but not the others. So my boy Barros, he's going up in You're Finally Awake because he's a bloody lad. We'll put Joffrey in They'll Be Gentle because he's a gentle old soul. The Septims are just, you know, they all pass away, so they're a bit irrelevant now. Ignore how the currency is named after them. Okato, yeah, you're not a fan for me. And you're not the Prophet. Just get out of here. Shoo. You made me do a pilgrimage. And we've been quite pessimistic this video, so let's talk about some lads. Actually, we'll start with Faden and Syl, because we got a bit of some negative things to say about them. But then the others they're all decent. So Faden, Syl, the only thing I can really remember you for being is a bit douchey and consorting with each other. If you know what I mean by consorting. I mean, when a manic person likes a demented person very much, yeah, you get the point. But they both just are a bit copy-pastery of each other. Just like, oh, look at me, I'm the scary person who rules this place. But in reality, they're just puppets. You know, they're a bit just lame and irrelevant. So anyway, let's move on to the more optimistic side. Runs in circles. This Argonian homie of mine is just, oh my, like, they are my best friend. Like, never have I ever been so just amazed by the words nee 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 nee, and you know, it's just, that's what I want to be one day, like that. Anyway, Haskell, when I was younger I used to think, why is this guy just so sad and just emotionless? But as I grow up more and more, I realise how relatable a character he is. And mainly, I think that he's the only person who's actually sane in the Shivering Isles. And his boss is just the most random flumping man in the world, Sheogorath. What a Chad. You try and punch him, he just teleports you miles above his kingdom and you go flop and die from full damage. And he just says a bunch of random stuff about cheese. You've got to respect the grind. He's a cool lad and definitely going to be one of our first few people in top tier. And runs in circles. We'll put runs in circles in top tier 2 because, as the adoring fan does say, golly, you're the best. Because they are the best. They are the people who make this game memorable. So let's get them up in top tier. I'm sure Haskell, as he doesn't put much effort into anything, he would be gentle. And Faden and Syl, they're both a bit irrelevant, so let's get them off their thrones. And let's start talking about the miscellaneous quests or other NPCs that we have left to talk about. So, we'll start off with Mike the Liar, the fourth wall breaking lad, the Khajiit that we all know and love, because he just appears in all the games, somewhere just, you know, chilling out, talking about loads of stuff which seem completely random if you're role-playing, but if, you know, you're just sitting down and playing a game, it makes you go, oh yeah, that is a weird little fact about this Elder Scrolls game. There are no dragons, or I can't dual wield, can I? Or I can swing a sword underwater. I'm so glad that's in this game. I'm sure it will carry over to the next few games. Anyway, I'm just, you know, waffling about him. He's a Chad. Speaking of Chads, we have Claude Marek. Yeah, screw you, Ulrich. Claude Marek. He's quite a cool kind of adventurer who tries to use you. But the thing is, he just assumes your gender. And if you refuse to give him the artifact, he will say kill him, no matter what gender you're. If you're a female, he'll still say kill him. And, you know, just assuming genders like that is not cool anymore. And speaking of not cool, we can now move on to Ulrich, who, he doesn't care to know us. So should we care to know him? Yeah, you know, he is kind of funny. So he can maybe make it to they'll be gentle. As, you know, I'm sure he'd be gentle. He does look it after all, you know, with that generic physique, which is probably a six-pack and, you know, a two-handed weapon. Definitely a cool guy that you want to go down to the pub with. So finally, we have Maglir. What is it with Wood Elves? Wood Elves in this game really know how to grind my gears. I do not like Maglir. I don't care who's trying to kill you and what kind of conspiracy is going on, Maglir. You're insane. And you're not even the cool kind of insane like Sheogorath. You're just a bit of a loony. And, you know, you're going to go and follow the rest of the Wood Elves. And you're probably going to get shoved off Dive Rock if it's up to me. But we'll talk about the other three we have to get through first. Darji, Umbacano, and the Fish Boy. So, Darji, you're probably wondering why the hell was he here? Because he is Mimi. You know, someone who goes around to people's houses and just puts all their valuable items in a barrel, you know, in their house. It's like, oh no, I've been robbed, but it's actually in their house. He is the definition of chaotic evil right there. And he also tells a pretty funny Khajiit joke if you've never heard it. I won't spoil it for you. If you go find him and ask him about Leowin, he'll tell you a very funny Khajiit joke, and it's a pretty good one. We also have Umbacano, who I really like as side quests, but he's a bit of a douche. Like most high elves, actually, now that I think about it. He just gets you to do his dirty work, and then tries to do some weird sacrificial ritual that goes badly, well, very badly, no matter what choice you choose, and you have to deal with it, because, you know, that's just how the world works. So cheers, Umbacano, you're a bit of a, you know, high elf, which is an insult. And finally we have Eowyn, who, yeah, he got beat up by Slaughterfish, and ironically, the most useful thing this guy can do is you do the dirty work for him and then steal the key on him so you can take his life savings that he's just been awarded for what you've done. Because, you know, you deserve the payment, really. So why don't you just take the money from him? Now, we've got 7 more people to add to the tier list. So we've got Mike in top tier because he's so memorable. We've got Darji in You're Finally Awake so the Khajiit stands don't go completely insane in chat. We put Ulrich and Claude in They'll Be Gentle, because I'm sure they would be. They're nice enough people. So your sweet roll, we're going to throw Umbacano in there. And Eowyn, he's pretty much Dive Rock fodder, because either way you laugh in his face or you just kill him and take the key off him for some life savings, which aren't even that much usually. So yeah, he's not the most useful person. And what's this? We've got one more character to review. The old nag horse from the Horse Armor DLC. How could we forget? Now, the Horse Armor DLC is probably some of the best content ever in a video game. It was like £3 or something for Horse Armor. And old Nag, obviously, rocks up as well with some steel armor. You know where this is going. It's better than any character we've mentioned so far, but we don't want to make a new tier because that would be effort. So we're going in Golly You're the Best with the rest of the boys. And that's my Oblivion tier list of 40 NPCs. If there's anyone else you want me to review, put their name in the comments and I'll give them a placement and a bit of a reasoning behind it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, maybe I could do like a Skyrim one or a Morrowind one. But yeah, if you've enjoyed, let me know and I'll see you next time.